Hey, Stephanie. What's up, y'all? It's Friday Junior, Stephanie. It is Friday Junior. How y'all doing? How y'all doing? How y'all doing? Happy Thursday to those of you guys that are um, tuning in, whether you are here now or on the replay. Our declaration this morning. Yeah, right, Stephanie, you did. Our declaration this morning, this week has been quite of a odd week. My days have been a little bit mixed up too. I gotta say that. But our declaration is don't be overwhelmed. Come on, our declaration on this morning is don't be overwhelmed. Don't be overwhelmed. I need those of you guys that are here to go ahead and just simply type that in on the screens. Don't be overwhelmed. Come on. Some of you guys woke up this morning, right? Hey, Visha, and you've been a little bit overwhelmed. How many people can say that there's been something in your life in this season that you've you're following what God tells you to do, but then there are moments where it's just like, Lord, I'm a little bit overwhelmed, right? By how far I've come. I'm a little bit overwhelmed because now I know that I am at that point of no return, right? Give me a one if you can say that it's been you, right? That you have those moments where just fear sets in, and sometimes fear brings us to a place where you just don't want to go or stay, kind of like a scared dog at the vet. Listen, they will not budge. They will not budge, y'all. This was me last night. This was me last night. I was having a moment where I packed all day. And I got to a point where, I finally was able to settle down. And it's like the moment I laid down, God was like, look at Holmes. But it was one of those moments where, like, when you sit down, it's almost like your body shuts down. Like, I just felt like, Lord, I absolutely cannot move. Like, I'm so exhausted. And then, I took a look at all the boxes, right, that I had packed. I realized, like, man, my entire kitchen, for the most part, is packed up. Like, and I started freaking out. Like, I knew that God was saying, listen, today, which is, tomorrow, which is today, I want you to go ahead and email them back, the signed documents. And so I got to a point where I just started freaking out. Anybody ever start freaking out? Like, you realize, you've been so adamant on just obeying God, doing what God says do. And then the moment you take a look at everything that's happening, it's like a person standing, about to, I guess, bungee jump or skydive. You get to the edge of that plane and you like, oh no, no, oh no. You literally kind of surreal, but you're freaking out because you're like, God, you know not only am I at the point of no return, but I can't see what's coming next. Like, I don't know what is coming next. And so this is me. I'm like, God, I'm like, when I turn in this paperwork, ain't no going back. Like, ain't no unboxing all this stuff. I still haven't found the home, right? I'm thinking about all these different scenarios are just playing out. And I heard the Lord say, breathe. He literally told me, breathe. Because I ain't gonna lie, I was about to hyperventilate, tired and all. I mean, I had been so focused yesterday, not thinking, not doing anything. And the Lord just literally told me, breathe. Don't freak out. He literally told me, breathe. Don't freak out. I'm going to be real. This morning, I woke up feeling that same way. I took Bella outside for the first time, in almost a week. I had to carry her down the big flight of stairs, but sis walked the rest of the way, right? And so I had a moment where, I'm still freaking out. I mean, I'm just on edge because I realized God, you have me moving so different than how the average person would move, right? The average person would, already have the home before they turn in any paperwork. The average person probably would not start packing until they found the home, until an offer is accepted. But I realized, like, God, my entire home is almost packed, minus like my clothes, minus like large furniture, minus a few, minus things in my storage room, the boxes and stuff I have stored there. So I'm freaking out, right? Hey, Natasha, I'm freaking out. I'm overwhelmed. And as I was driving to my appointment, the Lord said, "You're not the only person. Tell my people not to be overwhelmed." There are some of y'all where you may not be going through what I'm going through. Maybe God recently told you to, start a business, right? Maybe he said, quit your job and start a business. And you get to the point where it's like the day that you're supposed to turn in your notice. And you like, Lord, what in the world? And so many times what happens is we freak out when we don't know the entire puzzle. We freak out. Or maybe, right? God uprooted you and moved you to an entirely new place. And you may say, God, there are so many uncertainties in this new place. Maybe it's a job, maybe it's living arrangements, and you find yourself at moments freaking out because you realize that the outcome of what happens next is not in your control, freaking out because you absolutely do not know how God is going to do it. The Lord wants me to tell you, don't be like Peter. Woo. Don't be like Peter. Because if we can really like dissect that moment that Jesus calls Peter out of the boat. First of all, Peter asks God, Jesus, if it's you, like, call me out on the water. Like, if you ain't a ghost, if you real, call me out. So check this out. The moment that Peter, as long as his eyes were focused on Jesus, what was he doing? He was walking on water. The same way that, like, for us, when our eyes, especially as we're entering into new seasons, especially as we're, approaching the new things, the breakthroughs, the miracles, the blessings that God has with our name on it, think about it. As long as your eyes are focused on Jesus, you don't feel any uncertainties, right? Yesterday was a prime example of that for me. All day, my eyes were on God. God, what do you want me to do now? What about now? I wasn't thinking about the circumstance. I wasn't thinking about the details. I wasn't thinking about what comes next. I was just receptive. But the moment Peter took his eyes off of Jesus, what happened? He began to become aware of what was going on around. He became aware of the details of the circumstance. He became aware, like, whoa, I'm out on this water. I don't have the safety of this boat. It's winds and waves. Like, it's stuff going on all around me that could take me out. And the moment he became aware, right? Losing focus on Jesus and becoming aware of what's around him, he began to sink. It was the same way for me. The moment I took my eyes off of God, because I'm thinking I'm about to go to bed, and I just looked. I looked at what it looked like, and I started freaking out, right? And I believe that in that moment, what God was saying to me was, in so many words, in a soft way. Yeah, he said, don't be overwhelmed. But I really believe that he was saying, why don't you have faith? Why don't you trust me? You see, we freak out because our faith is failing us. Can I flow? Y'all ain't got to talk back to me. We get overwhelmed because we come on, we lose sight of God. We ain't focused on God. We are specifically looking at that bank account. We are looking at the circumstance. We are looking at the fact that God, I still don't have an apartment. I still don't have whatever the case may be. We're looking at the logistics of how it has been in the previous season. And we start freaking out. The Lord wants me to tell you on today, don't be like Peter. Can somebody just tell your neighbor, don't be like Peter? Don't be like Peter. Don't be like Peter. Stay focused today. If you got to remind yourself that the details don't matter, remind yourself that the details don't matter. If you can't, and that's the thing about focus. If you lose focus, right, and take your eyes off of God, you can always get that focus back. I'm going to say that again. You can always get that focus back, but it takes you checking yourself when you start to notice, I'm sinking. I'm sinking in the details of this. I'm sinking in come on, what it looks like. I'm sinking. I'm sinking. And the thing about, Peter's story is that, I truly believe that if he would, sometimes the details overwhelm us and they get us to a point. If you pay enough attention to the details where it becomes almost impossible to like regain your focus. But I believe like that first moment where Peter takes his eyes off of Jesus, I believe that had he just redirected his attention to Jesus, he would not have like started to sink in the middle of those winds and waves, in the middle of the storm that was gushing around him. And I believe that what God is saying to us on this morning is don't be like Peter in the aspect of Peter took his eyes off of Jesus and he did not redirect his focus. What God is saying is that if you woke up overwhelmed, if you were overwhelmed last night, couldn't sleep, right? If you feel a pressure that is heavy today, I believe that what God is saying is don't be like Peter in the aspect of not being willing to redirect your focus. Check yourself and redirect your attention to God. And that was literally what I had to do today. I'm like, Lord, let me just, I haven't sent the paperwork. I had an appointment this morning, but I said, Lord, let me go ahead and just redirect my focus, because if I keep looking at like the logistics of this thing, I'm not going to move. Not only am I not going to turn that paperwork in, but I'm not going to continue to pack. So I know that at this point, if I want to get what you have for me, I just need to just become oblivious to what's around me and just focus on what you are saying in the right now and the right here. And I believe that some of you guys right now, you needed that reminder. Redirect your focus. Come on. Redirect your focus. I'm going to say it again. Redirect your focus. I'm going to say it one more time for the one time. Redirect your focus. You don't have to be overwhelmed. You don't have to drown. Peter ain't had to drown, y'all. All he had to do was be willing to redirect his attention back to Jesus. The storm doesn't have to, make you feel like like you're about to tap out. But what the Lord is simply saying on this morning, focus on him. That's it. The details don't matter. The details don't matter. The details don't matter. The details don't matter. And I'm going to be real. Some of the new things that God does in our life, and especially the way that he has us move, it brings about, it surfaces fear in us. But the thing about fear is fear will always be present. But faith has to become a conscious decision. I'm going to say that again. Fear will always be present at every juncture of your life with every single thing that God tells you to do. But even though fear is lingering, faith has to become a conscious decision. You have to make a conscious decision that you ain't worried about what it looks like, because we don't walk according to what it looks like. You have to make a conscious decision that you trust God in despite of. I'm going to say that again. Even though fear is lingering, your faith in God, your faith in what he said, your faith in what he promised you, your faith in what his word says has to become a conscious decision that you make each and every single day, sometimes several times a day. Stay focused. Stay focused. Somebody tell your neighbor, stay focused. Don't be like Peter. Stay focused and don't be like Peter. I'm going to say it again. Stay focused and don't be like Peter. This is your morning manna. Stay focused. Don't be like Peter. Redirect your focus. You find yourself drowning, come on. All it takes is just for you to, come on, switch your perspective. Come on. All it takes is a conscious decision to say, nope, I'm not going to worry about the details. I'm not going to try to figure it out. I'm going to look at you, God. Because looking at that is scary. Looking at that makes me not want to move. Thinking about that makes me drown. So let me just keep my eyes on you, because after all, he is the author and the finisher of our faith. There's a piece that's here. After all, when it's all said and done, he's the author and finisher of our faith. If anybody knows how it'll play out, it's God. If anyone knows the why behind why he has you doing what he has you doing, it's God. And the truth of the matter is, when God is telling you to move, when God is leading you, when God is shifting things, everything around you is designed by the enemy to make you doubt God. Everything around you will be designed to make you say, God, I ain't doing it. Everything around you will be designed to deter you from moving forward and advancing into all that God has for you. So when it's all said and done, choose faith today. When it's all said and done, choose faith today. That was really what yesterday was. God knew that if you keep looking at what it looks like in the natural realm, you're going to start to believe the lies of the enemy. You're going to allow fear to creep in such a way where you are not prepared to receive. And that's just how it is. Everything around you is supposed to oppose. It ain't supposed to make sense, but it's supposed to get you to a point. Everything around you, right? Before that time where it's time for God to do what he said he's going to do, everything around you is supposed to be designed to make you not pursue. Think about the children of Israel. I got a few minutes. Think about the children of Israel. When they got to the promised land and they sent spies into the promised land, they didn't come back excited about the new thing. Y'all do know that, right? They were not excited when they saw what was actually over. They were not excited. Everything in the promised land was designed to deter them. And in fact, all of them, with the exception of 2, came back with fear. And are y'all making the connection? Everyone came back with fear in their hearts. Fear. But it was 2 that remembered the God from the wilderness. And they remembered, listen, God wouldn't have brought us this far. Come on, for us to be taken out. If God brought us through all that, he'll bring us through to what he promised us. And it is the same for us, right? That's why, especially as God is doing things in this hour, in this season, things around you are going to be designed to scare you. What they saw in the promised land, those spies, it was designed to scare them. It was designed to it was a tactic of the enemy to get them to a point where they would not pursue. But it took the conscious decision of just 2 of them to trust God. Just the conscious decision for them to trust God, right? And because of their faith, they were able to get access into the promised land, only to see that the enemies that they thought were going to be an issue, the moment that the walls fall, the Lord confused the enemy, and those enemies took themselves out. Why do we think that it's going to be any different for us? Thank you for that award. Why do we think that it's going to be any different for us? That was literally me last night. Them scared spies. God, this scary. I'm overwhelmed. It's a lot to take in. What about this? What about that? It's too much. The entire time, God is like, just choose faith. Focus on me and choose to trust me. So that is the broadcast, y'all. I got to get going. I just came here to tell you, redirect your focus. Focus on God's faithfulness today. Focus on his instructions today and move forward into all that God has for you. Listen, there are 7 people on here that need to sow a seed into this word. There are 7 people that need to sow a $7.77 seed into this word. And you label this your faith seed. The seed title is Don't Be Like Peter. Peter was unwilling to shift his attention back to Jesus. Don't be like Peter. Don't be like Peter. Don't be like Peter. If you woke up feeling overwhelmed, come on, redirect your focus. Don't be like Peter. Don't be unwilling to put your eyes back on God. Don't be like Peter. Don't be like Peter. If you are one of the 7 people that need to sow that $7.77 seed, just type in on the screen, that's me. I'm highly aware that some of you guys are going to watch this on the replay, and you are absolutely going to know that you need to sow seed into this word. And so that is it. There are 7 people that need to sow. Some of y'all are here now. Some of y'all are going to be catching this thing on the replay. And there is one person, I was just going to say, there's one person that needs to be sown for. Do I have anyone that can sow for Stephanie Palmer? And Natasha, you need to sow seed into this word as well. And Miss Mary, you as well. So that's it, y'all. That's it. If you can sow for Stephanie Palmer, just simply say God is faithful. I don't have much time to be on here. I literally got to get off of here in 1 minute. But if you know that you can sow for Stephanie, okay, to God be the glory. And so listen, I love y'all. I'm rooting for you. So until next time, y'all, peace.